What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Slackerz, bringing you guys our next matchup in the Everyone Is Here tournament. And real quick, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Like, currently when this video goes up, I'm probably over at my mom's house, I want to say. Whatever it is. Maybe I'm not quite there. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a great day. Eat all the food you can. Like, enjoy it. Enjoy the day. Meant to be with family. And if you do, I don't know, whatever, Black Friday shopping and whatever you want to do, I hope you guys have fun, stay safe out there and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah. So let's go into this. If you haven't seen it before, simple stuff. 100 characters put into a tournament. Each day in the channel, I upload one of the matches from the tournament. I'll talk about the two characters, try to make sense why they might make, why they might make sense for a DLC character in Smash Bros. I'll talk about potential moveset a bit. I'll talk about maybe a couple factual points, stuff like that. Really try to make a case for them a bit. And then we'll vote down in the comments. What does the voting have to do with anything? Well, that's how we determine winners and losers, and voting is a part of the rules. So here come the rules. And the first rule on top of the screen, you see it, and that is a rule. Because we have characters that are like assist trophies, spirits, me costumes, characters that are quote-unquote disconfirmed and will not happen. So if you just happen to like a character, feel free to drop a vote for him. There's no restrictions on who you can and cannot vote for. If they're in the matchup, you can vote for them, regardless of their current situation, alright? So, yeah, this tournament, do what you want. Vote for who you want, as long as they're in the matchup, but it's all good. But again, voting, how do you vote? Very simple. You type the name of one of the two characters that are in the matchup for the day. So you type which one you prefer to see as a DLC character in Smash Bros. And then you only get one vote, but pretty simple stuff. Matchup-wise, though, oh, sorry, real quick. If you happen to like both the characters and you want to see them both in Smash for DLC, you are allowed to vote for both by simply typing both. Or if you just can't decide who you want to vote for, you can vote for both as well. Totally cool. But remember, one vote per person. Anyway, the rest of the rules, it's a double elimination tournament, meaning a character has to lose twice before being officially eliminated. Once we get to the results for each individual matchup to find out the winner and loser, if there happens to be a tie in the voting, I'm just going to flip a coin on camera. Fairest way to break a tie. Fairest way to break a tie. And then the last rule, each matchup voting-wise only lasts for just 1 week, so that means today's what, Thursday? So we'll get the results of today's matchup next Thursday, and that's pretty much it. So let's jump into the results and the matchup for the day. Ah, delicious. I love my mug. Alright, so let's go into the results from last week. And that matchup was Captain Toad, who's taking on Spyro the Dragon. This one really didn't finish that close in terms of total votes. I don't think too many people will be surprised at the outcome. More people will probably say it's the bigger named character, so I don't think people will be too surprised. But Spyro did win it. 62 votes to just 36 for Captain Toad. So, congrats to Spyro, moving on to the next round in the winner's bracket, taking on Sandbag. But Captain Toad fans, again, don't forget, still in the tournament, just drops down to the loser bracket, so one more loss, and the captain is done then. But still in the tournament for now. Anyway, congrats to Spyro. But yeah, there's your results. So we have to go to the matchup for the day. No real stories, a lot of just sort of, that's who I'm voting for. So that's pretty much what people put in the comment section. So there you go. No real story on how the voting played out this time. But we got to go over the matchup for the day. Alright, so the first character today is Chris Redfield from Resident Evil. And yes, I will address it because it was just recently announced, but I'll address it in a second. But Chris Redfield is taking on Mike Haggar from Final Fight series. And could be kind of an interesting matchup. I mean, we'll find out. We'll see how this goes. So, let's see. First up, Chris Redfield. Now, Chris Redfield, why could he make sense? Well, before I get to that, yes, Smash Bros. Just announced that Resident Evil will be having spirits of said franchise in the game. And they come out, I believe, this upcoming weekend. And that's really cool. That was an announcement that really came out of nowhere, to be honest. Like, nobody's expecting, like, oh yeah, by the way, randomly Resident Evil is going to be in Smash Bros. Like, whoa, what just happened? Nintendo, how are you doing this? How do the phone calls go? Is it like, Sakurai just picks up the phone and goes, "Hi, this is Masahiro Sakurai," and Capcom and Resident Evil, their representatives are just like, "Yep, you can have them, take them, take them, take them." And he's just like, "Oh, I was just calling to say hello, but okay, thanks. They're going to be spirits now." So imagine that. Sakurai's just pulling in all these franchises to be spirits and whatnot in Smash. That's awesome. More the merrier, right? But again, Resident Evil spirits are in the game, and they're some of the bigger characters in Resident Evil. Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, Jill Valentine, and Wesker. Now it's by no means a 100% deconfirmation of any of these characters for the playable roster, but it's a really hard hit against any of them because, like, look, Leon and Jill, they were kind of considered the front runners for any Resident Evil. Chris, I did see get a few mentions. Wesker, I seen maybe just a couple. But, like, you just took, like, arguably the biggest 4 names in Resident Evil, and you just made them a spirit. Now, why would that make them obviously not happen? Why are they kind of deconfirmed in this way? Well, if they're going to be a playable fighter later down the road, why are you giving them a specific spirit now? You know, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's not something that you're going to be like, all right, like, it's just easier to save it for the future if they were to, in fact, be DLC playable fighter. And I'm not just talking about those 4 that I mentioned. I mean, you could talk about, for some, like Barry, you could talk about Shuri, you could talk, like, Ada, potentially. You could talk about Claire. There's still so many characters in Resident Evil that you're like, all right, maybe they have a chance now. Yeah, but you got to remember, if in fact Resident Evil were to get a rep, the bigger name characters are going to come with them as spirits for DLC. But hold on, just real quick, just a second. Don't rule it out yet. Now, it hasn't been confirmed anywhere, at least I don't think it has, that the additional DLC, I don't think that's been said anywhere that it's going to get the Fighter Pass treatment. And what I mean by that is they're not confirmed the character's not confirmed to have a stage come with them. They're not confirmed to have any music, or they're not confirmed to have any spirits come with them. So, essentially, Resident Evil, those 4 characters are they might be out of the running, but say Sakurai wanted to go with, I don't know, Ada Wong, for example, or Sherry, or whoever he wanted to go with. It could just simply be that one character. Maybe we don't get a stage for the additional DLC. Maybe we do. I don't think there's been any official details on those things, unless it was in the fine print and I just didn't see it. But, like, I kind of think Resident Evil might be out of the running now. They're a big enough franchise to where they should have been. If they would have been in Smash Bros., it was either going to be a surprise as spirits, which they ultimately got, or it was going to be a playable fighter. And since they got the surprise spirit announcement, I mean, yeah, it's kind of down the drain for them a little bit. But on the off chance, we'll talk about Chris real quick. Moveset. I mean, Resident Evil, you know, you got your guns. Chris can hold his own in a fight, and, you know, hands and fists. You do have not just like handguns and shotguns in the Resident Evil universe that you can use. You got all sorts of, you know, a little bit different sort of weapons that aren't just focused mainly on, you know, the realistic bullets. You got some fun other weapons in there. You got grenades you could do. You got like they got like quick actions. So like for example, Leon would have like roundhouse kicks or suplexes. So you could do something similar like that for Chris. You could do, I don't know, something like that. Like, moveset, I think you can come up with. Plus, he was in Marvel vs. Capcom. I mean, like, what he's got? Grenade launcher in there as well. He's got all sorts of other things. So, he's already in a fighting game. So, he has a moveset at his disposal that they can take influence from. So, moveset is really not an issue for Chris in this case. Or for his opponent, for that matter. But, yeah, it's probably not likely that Leon, Jill, Chris, or Wesker are going to be playable fighters. I mean, they just would have held off on them, right? If they were going to be a playable fighter, they would probably have held off on those spirits specifically. But you never know. We'll see what the new additional DLC holds. So let's talk about Chris's opponent here. The Mayor of the Earth, Mike Haggar. And Mike is a interesting character. He's from the series Final Fight, which has been on Nintendo consoles. I believe it isn't Final Fight. Didn't that just come out? Did that just come out on the Super Nintendo Online thing for the Switch? I think it did. I'd have to double check that. If it did, and you guys haven't played that, it's a fun little kind of beat 'em up sort of style of game. Mike Haggar, he's a mayor. He was a wrestler, and I believe he retired and he became a mayor. So he's a wrestler, holds his own very well. He's a big, beefy, muscular meatbag dude. So he can hold his own. So potential moveset. Like I said, wrestlers. There's all sorts of stuff you can do in there. I think this next slide. Yeah, he's got power bombs. He's got tombstones. He's got pile drivers. Typical punches and kicks. He does have his patented like big lead pipe that he carries around with him. So you could have a I don't know, like a side special, maybe a smash attack, side smash. That could be, holds up, winds up, and boom, you got a melee weapon in there. He does chuck barrels in the Final Fight game, so you could use that as potentially for somewhere in the moveset as well. So, like, moveset again, and plus he is in the Marvel vs. Capcom games as well as Chris is, so, and they happen to actually be on the same team in this picture. That's pretty cool. But, yeah, so moveset for both the characters, easy to come up with. The places you can definitely take influence from, and like Mike Haggar, though, we'll be honest, that'd be so way out of left field for, like, especially Fighter Pack character number 5, which, it's either gonna be somebody extremely huge. This is just my opinion, I guess. It's gonna either be one of those huge AAA names for characters such as a Sora or maybe a Crash or something like that. Or it's going to be somebody kind of like way just sitting dormant. Nobody's thinking of what the character. It's going to kind of, I don't want to say they're going to be a dud of an announcement, but it's just going to kind of be like, what are they thinking, So, like Mike Haggar, though, I think you could still make a pretty interesting character. Yes, I know there will be some people, and it's totally fine. Your opinions. Like, hey, you don't like what you don't like. I'm not here to force you to be like, yes, Mike Haggar's another beat 'em up. He's punches and kicks. He's, Ryu, Ken, Terry Bogard to an effect. They got that sort of play style as well. So it's like, all right, maybe he doesn't offer quite a bit more unique aspect to his playable, playable character status than maybe others would. But I don't know. I like Mike Haggar, and I think. Excuse me. I think for this matchup, solely because we have the Resident Evil Spirits coming out this upcoming weekend, maybe even, is it tomorrow? I'd have to check the day. It's I think it's Friday though. It might be Friday. But with the Resident Evil Spirits coming out, for me, I'm actually voting for Mike Haggar just because I guess he makes the most sense in this situation. And to be completely honest, completely fair, if we'll take out the fact that Resident Evil Spirits are coming out. Take that out for a second. Chris isn't even in my top 3 characters that I'd want to see from Resident Evil. Leon would be number 1. Nemesis would be number 2. And then probably Jill would be number 3, I'd say. Or maybe Jill's number 2 and then Nemesis. Nemesis 2 and then Jill's probably 3. So those are my top 3. So yeah, Chris isn't even crack my top 3. Wesker might even be number 4. So I don't even know. Chris maybe number 5. I don't know. Chris isn't really one for Resident Evil that I'm like, yep, that's the character I want to see. So for me, the Mayor of the Earth gets my vote for this one today. Mike Haggar. We'll see how he does. We'll see what you guys think about it as well. But that is going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, as always. So a little sneak peek for tomorrow. Excuse me again. Sorry. We have, what's the matchup? Oopsies, there we go. The matchup for tomorrow. S.T.A.R from the Pokemon series, taking on one of Nintendo's newest babies, Akira Howard from Astral Chain. So that could be an interesting match. We'll see how that one plays out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll get the results of tomorrow's matchup. I'm looking forward to this one too. We'll get the results of Dixie Kong, and she was taking on Sephiroth. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But today's today. Today's wrapping up. Hope you guys enjoyed as always, and hopefully catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.